The Hilltop Glove Podcast is sponsored by Mid Carolina Service Company.
Mid Carolina Service Company is the first name to search for your residential or commercial HVAC needs in Lexington and surrounding areas.
Just go holler at Jason and Clint. They'll hook you up on the air conditioners, on the restaurant equipment, refrigerators, refrigeration, ice machine repair. They've been doing this for years. I know them cats forever.
Family owned and operated since 2006, they pride themselves in their quality work and customer relationships. Call 803-356-4153 or visit midcarolinaserviceco.com for a no obligation quote for service today.
The Hilltop Glove Podcast is sponsored by True Brilliance Entertainment.
True Brilliance is a production, promotions, and management company dedicated to connecting artists and producers across the Carolinas to music industry professionals.
Several of their clients have placements both domestic and internationally as a result of their services.
Are you an artist or producer looking to build meaningful relationships within the music industry? Then True Brilliance is for you. Check them out at paramilitary.com. That's spelled P-A-I-R-A military.com.
This episode of the Hilltop Glove Podcast is sponsored by Bob's. Bob's is a Columbia-based retailer of over 100 Black-owned products from 20 Black-owned businesses. Bob's offers a wide range of items from household cleaning, cosmetics, and everything in between. With every visit to Bob's, you support Black-owned businesses, giving them the opportunity to grow and establish connections with our community. Bob's is located inside the Noma warehouse at 2222 Sumter Street in Columbia, South Carolina. Visit their website, weshopbobs.com for in-store pickup or to find out more. Bob's can also be found via social media on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at weshopbobs. When you stop by, tell them the Hilltop Glove sent you. Bob's brings quality Black brands to the Columbia community. The Hilltop Glove Podcast is sponsored by Red Rooster Sports Bar and Grill. Red Rooster is your neighborhood bar and grill serving the best wings, burgers, and baskets in the Met.
Like the amazing food, the bar is always on tap, and there's plenty of screens to watch the big game. Red Rooster is the Midland's premier meetup spot for local car and bike clubs, fraternities, and sororities.
Staff is dedicated to accommodating all kinds of parties and events. If you're looking to catch a game, have a bite, and a drink, look no further than the Red Rooster.
Red Rooster is located at 7500 Wilson Boulevard, Columbia, South Carolina. For more information, visit redroostersportsbar.com or visit them on Facebook and Instagram at Red Rooster Sports Bar. Go where the winners go.
Welcome to the Hilltop Glove Podcast.
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 Good morning, and welcome to this episode of the Hilltop Glove Podcast. I'm your host, DJ M. Wet, and I'll be joined by my co-host, Tamaya Allen. Hey, Tamaya.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing well this morning, doing well. It's a beautiful day. Man, as always, with this podcast, we have great conversations. Sometimes conversations are more timely than others. And I know on doing the read-up on our guest today, Sam B. Mixon, a.k.a. Samuel Berry Jr., I knew this conversation was going to be dope today because we had some events that happened this week and that keep happening. And I see that he was pretty affected by some of these events. And so I think some of that will come up in the conversation today, and I'd love to talk about it and get deeper into those points. But just to introduce him, of course, like I said, we're going to be speaking with Sam B. Mixon, aka Samuel Berry Jr., who is a poet, rapper, songwriter, recording and mixing engineer, as well as founder and CEO of Ask of God Entertainment LLC and Sam B. Mixing Recordings LLC. Welcome, brother. How you feeling today?
I'm feeling good, man. I've been up since about 3 o'clock this morning, so I got a little quick little nap in, and yeah, so we up, man, and ready, man.
That's amazing. Salute. I salute.
Yo. I do appreciate that.
All right.
I appreciate you being here with us. I know, like you said, you've been up basically since you woke up with the sun. You got the sun up this morning. So,
Yeah, I think I beat the sun.
hey, but like I said, 'tis the life. That's the life of what you do. And I know we're going to get in a conversation about that. And just to start off, a very baseline question. Everybody, especially in our community, we know people that grew up spitting rhymes, had dreams of being hip hop stars or having some kind of place in the game. And I know just from being a nosy internet snoop, man, you've actually did the job. You've actually turned that business model, putting that work ethic together to create something that is true, and you actually help other artists actualize and realize their dreams. Would you mind taking a minute to talk about your journey in this game and how you evolved from a lyricist to a businessman as well?
Well, like I personally, I was a late bloomer in the aspect of it. Like a lot of people that I do music with now and have been doing music with, a lot of them started like in their teens, early 20s, and it went from there. Myself, I started when I was like 26, 27, 28 possibly, writing. And I learned how to write because I was homeless at the time. I left Columbia. I went to Atlanta, and it was really just a rebuilding of myself and kind of finding myself. And through writing and through poetry was a way that helped strengthen me on the inside, that just kind of encouraged me and kept me moving on. And then one thing just kind of turned into another. So that's how I kind of got into it. And I was down there doing spoken word events and shows and stuff like that. And so then recording came up. And so I tried out different studios, but I just couldn't get the sound that I wanted. And so then I started doing it myself. When I made it back home from Columbia, because I wound up getting in school as well. And that's what helped me too. That's where like the writing came from, because I was in college at the time.
Okay.
And just like I said, I took the long route on everything. Like I didn't graduate from high school. I didn't get my GED till I was like 23. I got my GED when I was 23, and then a lot of stuff happened. Wound up going to Atlanta, got in school, and then came back to Columbia. And so once I got back to Columbia, there was like no places for poetry at the time. I think it just kind of really died down. I don't know if y'all know Brother Muwa, but he used to go by Chris, and he used to have a poetry here in Columbia, and it used to move around. But that was way before I even kind of started, I believe.
Okay.
But that's how that stuff kind of started, man. It was just one thing out of another. I couldn't get what I wanted out of the studio, so I was like, man, let me buckle down. And then I learned that and built the group. That's why I formed Ask the God Entertainment, which I do not want to work with artists anymore. I would rather be in the background doing this. I give advice here and there, and that's another reason why I was up. I met an artist here this morning, and just like the studio is more than just a place of music. You know, people really come here and vent and get themselves right. You know, a lot of people don't have access to the church, or they don't have access to those motivational. And I'm not trying to say that like I'm the top motivational speaker for all the artists around here, anything like that. It's just, you know, God brings people in your life, and if you can be there to support them.
Most definitely. Man, I know as you were talking, you were explaining your upbringing into this industry and et cetera. Of course, like you said, it was not at all what you consider the normal way of doing things. You did take that long route, as I like to call it, the Michael Reardon route, aka the Killer Mike route, where you were a mature individual before you even.
Correct.
So that makes it a little different. Could you explain to our audience how that tinged or colored your perception of the industry?
And it's just like I can bring it back to like just me being mature enough when I started going to college, because now I'm around a bunch of teenagers and people in their early 20s. The thing that came up to me was just like the lack of responsibility that I seen, kind of even with the the kids I was going to college with, and like they had prime opportunities, and trying to relate my experiences to help them to like, yo, you got a big opportunity right now, and you might want to take advantage of it, you know.
Right.
And that's the same thing that I'm kind of hearing with the backlash from people now speaking out about the violence in hip hop or rap. They're saying that they gave these young people these opportunities to change their life and do all these great things to build financial wealth for their families. They're giving these opportunities and they're blowing them. But how many people are actually investing into them, telling them, yo, you got this much of money, this how much goes back to Uncle Sam for your taxes,
Right.
this much we can put in this bank, and this will generate income, and da 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 da. Like nobody's really saying anything about that. So
Like financial literacy, like just educating them.
yeah, so it's really about that, and then I also have a church background also, so like that's that foundation. And I know like a lot of people catch a lot of slack and talk a lot of stuff about the Bible, but there's real good fundamental lessons in there that a person can use to move through life. And I think that's just like the biggest thing, because they have these big stars in their eyes from what is being promoted, but that's not at all like the background stuff.
Got you. Speaking of that background stuff, I know you're starting to hit on this point when you explain it, like dealing with folks who don't have that responsibility, haven't learned yet how to be mature and handle themselves out there. And speaking of business, so how did you become, and how did you pick up the skills to be good at the business that you're actually in right now, which especially as I was listening through your mixes and stuff like that, you do an excellent job. You create a product that you know as an artist you'll feel good standing next to, and you want it to sound off in whatever venue it might be in. So how did you get those skills, and then how did that ability and that maturity lead to you having also a good business acumen? This is something I know entrepreneurs should and need to hear about, how you transition that from the skill into the business.
And see, like when I was down there in Atlanta, we were working on while being homeless, we were working on ways to help the homeless. So
that's wild.
I forget his name, and I wish I could salute him right now, but I forget his name. Henry Anderson. Got him, Henry Anderson. And so Henry Anderson, he was kind of the one who kind of really kind of motivated me on the business side. So when I did got the opportunity to go to school, I took business management. But it was so crazy that I never really received the job using that degree, not even the entry level position. So that kind of just really sucked. Yeah. So, but I took those skills and I kept those skills. And when I got back here to Columbia, of course, I went back to working. Like I think the first job when I got back here was at the chicken farm. And then from the chicken farm, I went back into cooking, because I was cooking ever since I was 16, in and out of restaurants. So, yeah, that's a whole nother story. So I kept those skills even with when I started, people started coming to me, and I developed the Ask the God Entertainment. It was all just like principles that I learned from school, from Henry Anderson, and most of it is just morals. This is how you deal with people back and forth. But now let me tell you, because of the pandemic, like my thing was I always wanted to help the artists who may not have the financial backing. So for a long time, I kept my prices kind of reasonable to low, as some people would say. And I wanted them to come record and use the other money to market and, get themselves out. So the studio time. But as you can see, like with the economy turning, those ones who don't really have the financial backing, those are the first ones hit. So it's kind of like you want to help, but then when times like now, I kind of think like maybe I should have been always going for the deep pockets and then help on the back end
Once
instead
you have
of
your stuff set.
yeah, but so I'm right there in the fight with him right now. That's why I'm maybe so vocal about the political and the other stuff right now too, because I'm right there in the trenches with the normal folk. You feel me?
Hey,
Yeah.
my guy.
Listen, I follow you on Instagram, so every day I'll be like,
Say it exactly.
you scroll and you see that one post, and you be like, "All right, who posted it? Sam."
Yo,
Like, you're very
real talk.
controversial. I like
Oh,
that.
yeah, and I'm learning myself too. Like, and my bro, we was talking, and we was like from computer maintenance. Like, I have to do stuff quarterly to my computer to make sure that it runs. I back up stuff and things of that nature. So me and my guy, we were talking. Salute the grip,
Oh
grip
yeah,
type productions. We was talking, and he said something. He was like, we as people, we need to clean out the information that we get and clean out the information that we stored in our head. And I thought about it, like I do my computer like that, like all the time, like, and I'm set up, but I never really thought about, just downloading all the information that I have acquired and releasing it so I can absorb some more.
wow.
So I think that's what we're coming into now. And I've always been, I always had this thing about holding my tongue. So now I'm getting older, and I think with the download conversation we just had, like I'm gonna be talking about a whole bunch of stuff in these next coming weeks and months.
Grip is the guy. I can't wait to have him on the show. Like, I think I had that same conversation with him, and he just makes you think on a whole nother level. So he's one of those people you have to have around you all the time.
Yeah, correct. Like he has been such a blessing this year, just through our conversations. And he's an older guy. He's not too much older than me, but he's definitely an older guy and very knowledgeable in
Y'all
what he
bounce
do and in
ideas
life
off each other?
situation.
Do you guys bounce ideas off each other?
Yes, we do, and we got a couple of little things that we're working on as well. So yeah, so definitely.
So I really want to know about Sam. You do a lot of. So what is your very niche? The recording, the songwriting, poetry. Which one is your?
Oh, right now, I am definitely like I have took a hiatus. Like I don't even know how my hiatus came on writing, but definitely I write from here to there. But my niche is definitely recording and mixing. I do those very well. The songwriting is tricky nowadays unless we have an artist, unless I have an artist that come here and let me know ahead of time, be like, Sam, I'm about to book this studio time. I'm writing this song in the session, and any feedback that you can give me would be good. And we'll do the split sheets and all that other good stuff. Like that is very rare. I haven't had that. One of my pet peeves is that you come to the studio unprepared. And so like I'll be ready to make I'll be ready for the artists to come here and they know their stuff. That way we won't have any problems. If they get in here, record their stuff, project their voice well, they done practice, they're in the zone, we're gonna have a wonderful session. We're gonna have a wonderful he or she gonna have a wonderful mix at the end of the session. But once it gets to the freestyling, because that's what we see now more than likely. We've got a lot of artists that's coming in freestyling. So everything is just in, out, in, out, in, out.
Usually ask you any business advice, or is just strictly music?
It is strictly music. I guess it just depends. Like I give advice, but my stuff is just like do's and don'ts, common sense things. Artists, especially like new artists. I get a lot of new artists that's coming into it, so I try to help them avoid some of those pit stops or those pit holes.
Yeah.
Yeah, more than anything. So yeah.
What age did you gain your interest in music?
My mom was a big influence, but back then it was just like, and I stress this so much, like if you see your kid do anything like, and if they do it consistently, try to build on that, because that might be the thing that keeps them out of trouble. That may be the thing that actually becomes a form of income for them, or revenue. So my mom, she played like all the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s music. Is every time we hopped in the car, we was listening to stuff. My dad had like 8 tracks and stuff, even though I didn't know how to work all that good stuff. So I was always around music. Once we moved to South Carolina, that's when, and we got our first like system. I think that's when I started like tearing stuff apart and hooking it back up, like making surround sound out of speakers that I found and all that other good stuff. Like I had a Walkman, and my Walkman would be pumping like 12s. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, like I was doing stuff like that, breaking up the TV, making surround sound.
Wow.
Just like all that good stuff, connecting wires. But I never knew that could be a career. You know, I thought it was just something that I did, and a way that I can listen to my music. And when my friends come over, they could hear it and all this other good stuff. But I like, it never really dawned on me like this could be something I could do. And then it took like that whole age from 13 to all the way up to like 23. Like those are just kind of just like blank years. Those is just really just, I was just listening to hip hop music and stuff like that. There was never no, I want to do this. We was too busy in the streets doing other stuff, playing basketball and causing trouble.
But that goes into my next question. So, like, what artists did you grow up listening to, or who inspired you?
Oh man, I love pop. Like that was, I think like Dog Pound Gangsters was like my first time really glitching in. You know, they had the singles that would play, the Coolio and stuff like that. But then again, like I listened to everything. My mom listened, like we used to watch Smokey and the Bandit. So, you know, they would have like country music. Yeah, they would have like country music and stuff in there. So I like all music. There's like no music that I don't like from heavy metal, and I probably can't name any bands, but I like know the songs.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. Like one of my favorite songs is Leonard Skinner, Simple Man. So it just varies. I have my mom definitely helped me have a wide view of music.
Yeah, it's definitely eclectic. And you were not joking about that. Even when it comes to the music that you mix and mess with and stuff like that, I know from going through and listening to your Instagram videos and stuff like that, I could see you really you don't, as a creative, you're an open-minded person. You don't close off things just because it's not, quote unquote, a part of the culture. And right. That's really cool, man. That's extra dope, especially within the atmosphere of hip hop. And I know something that I think is important. I know we're about to get to this part, so I was going to talk about this too. Dealing with reality rap and the vibe and the sound and the feel of that music is very unique. And so usually when people deal with that, you don't usually think that they deal or listen to other things or have a foot in other doorways. But I know you definitely do. And even from doing your poetry and etc., you would, because I was just listening through the YouTube, you have a YouTube setup with a playlist and it has a bunch of stuff that you mix. That is wild, man. It was like everything I could think of was up there. Everything sounded good as well. And I know leading to changing directions and moving into the next section, being able to be creative, show your gift, but also keep your balance and be a professional. You were talking earlier about how you try to start off working with folks who didn't have much first, but you probably should have dug in some deeper pockets too as well. What advice from your experiences could you share with our audience about how to successfully operate as a professional creative?
First thing that come to my head is get out of your own way.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the first thing. And that's I had to actually read some stuff on getting out your own way. but definitely things may not be as they seem. And I have a problem too with this, but don't react before you know the whole story. And talk to people. Talk to people. that's the biggest thing. To help you as a creative is as far as is talking about creating music or just being a creative in the creative scene.
Yeah, and all around creative.
All around.
So
doing the work and being in the scene.
definitely when you're doing your music, it's okay to step outside of yourself to see other people's point of view. Definitely be true to yourself and use music to teach. I guess teach and uplift. Like do you really want somebody to go through the same things that you went through? Um I I really I really have a I just really have a thing about the senseless killing. That's my biggest thing. Like the bragging about senseless killing. And I know like those more for just like that one is one set, but it's okay to rap about you talking about you defending yourself and things that you did or you might do or you're so angry that you might do, but just I don't know, man. That's gonna be something that we're gonna have to work on moving forward. But I know a lot of people see death. Um, I I started seeing people die when I was 6 years old, so it's
I mean,
it's a
that's a part of that's a part of being in what they like call trauma culture, like especially for Black folks. Anybody, especially if you grew up in poverty, it's something that exists. And
Yeah.
this is something I wanted to talk about today because I was looking at all your posts and stuff in relation to what had transpired this past week. And I mean, anyone, if you hadn't been on the rock in the last 20 years and you exist out here in the world, hip hop runs all culture right now. It doesn't matter where
Right.
you're at, what's going on. It has surpassed everything. Being the most effective way to sell a burger, the most effective way to get somebody in a house. Doesn't matter what it is. You use hip hop for anything. You can even teach a child how to wipe its behind with hip hop.
Right.
But so we have these great gains and hit an amazing plateau. But of course, anytime you gain so much, you get so much responsibility, there's losses that come with it. And for the culture in general, like people don't understand, like hip hop is an entity, and it consists of different parts. It's not just rapping. And the MC is just one piece of the ceremony. Like you have your graph designer, you have your B-boys, your B-girls. You got, you know what I'm saying? You got the people who are styling art and doing other things within the mix. That's how hip hop shows back in the day. That's what used to go there and it basically be a bazaar of culture. And I know being, like I said, I know I wrote this up and this is like coming from the heart because like I'm a child of the culture. I grew up in the culture. I love the culture. I saw how it can lift people out of poverty, how it can create economic opportunity. It can clean up neighborhoods. Man, it's amazing what it can do. And it came from the brainchild of poor and destitute people in the cities that were being burnt out and stuff back in the 70s. Like, you got to think about it. It's crazy. And they were just coming out of being out of heroin epidemic. But like things go in cycles. So I always tell people, you got to give things a chance. You got to let it grow, but things happen in cycles. So the place where we came from and try to change, it seems like we're going backwards in a weird way. So in my mind, I believe like the balance of the culture, it has been a loss that came with some of the gains economically. Like we don't have the same plethora in the mainstream of music that we used to have when it came to hip hop. Like hip hop used to be like a brightly colored kente cloth of different types of music styles, feelings, and everything. Now it's like it's just tilted hard one way. And of course, I know part of it is because we don't have our hands on the wheel like we should, but it's tilted one way to the point where you have good guys. These people, these are some good dudes. They gotta rap about trauma in order to make it out there in the industry, quote unquote, or in the game to actually be profitable, or no one's gonna pay attention to them.
So that's sad. That's sad. Do you think that is kind of selling your soul?
And see what I found out yesterday, back in 2020, 200 rappers died. 200. Like, and you would think if any other industry lost 200 employees, there would be some sort of talking about it. There would be some sort of reform. We'll figure out, hey, what's going on? But as they said, nobody's talking about it. And I just found out, and I'm in music. And this is not just like in the United States. They had a few people from across seas too. So, and they died from gun violence. So it's like, what's really going on?
It's something bigger.
That's what it kind of feels like. And I said that because when I looked up the rappers, I looked up the mainstream rappers who died, and I thought to myself, I said, man, for every mainstream rapper that died, there gotta be at least 50 to 60 independent local artists that passed. And lo and behold, that information had dropped.
Yeah, that's why that's the one I know when it comes to non-mainstream rappers, it's worse.
Yeah.
It's worse. Like I listened to a story yesterday out of Chicago. There were two artists from the same clique as FBG Duck. Two of them, right? Two of them. They got with two other guys to try to run a heist on an armored vehicle. Didn't get none of the money out of the vehicle. Killed a 42-year-old woman. Got children, etc. Just started the job a month ago. Injured another guard. Left that place. Tried to rob a darn Boost Mobile. Didn't get much money out of there. Tried to get phones and stuff. The two rappers ended up killing the other two guys with them because they ain't had nothing really to split between them for the money. Went running. Somebody saw them. Got all the information down on them. Cops found them real quick. Like, now they're going to be serving life sentences for nothing. Senseless. And these were two, like, and it's not like they were unknown people. Everybody knew who they were. And they still were out here trying to live that lifestyle. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, man.
I mean, so what do you think we could do to change that?
I think the first thing we have to deal with the communities. We have to get some sort of foundation going with the community. And I've been listening to Dr. Umar. I rock with Dr. Umar on some of his on I don't agree with everything, but some of the things I agree with a lot of things.
Truth, and you don't have to be correct all the time. People can still speak truth. Like my brother always says, a broken clock is right twice a day.
Right.
Yeah.
So one thing he's heavy on is definitely like legislation. And I know that we can do things inside of our own power, but we definitely need laws and we need policies that can kind of help our communities out. Definitely focus more on trades, finding ways to put money inside these young guys' hands so this lifestyle won't be that attracted to them. That way that they can feel they can learn some things. And you know how like humans are once we start learning, once we're learning, we are fully energized, we are active, we are engaged. And it all comes from learning. And so if they're not learning one way, we need to find out different ways of teaching them so that they can be engaged and that they can use their skills. Like somebody was like, man, let's get rid of these alphabets that they give people in high school and stuff and start giving them money for their grades and stuff like that.
So, incentives. Yeah, because really kids want money all the time.
Yeah. So, I had a good friend named Ty. He was big about that. He used to run a program in New York to give the guys, like in summertime. He said, hey, if you don't want them out here on the block, he's like, let them go make some paper. Yeah. And so he found a way to make the money. And so they wouldn't be on the block because they were already making money. There was no reason for them to be out there.
And also, like, even when I was growing up, it's kind of two things that I really wanted to do when I was living in Gonzales Garden. I wanted to be an undersea welder because I learned about that, and I thought that would just be cool, going there, diving, doing that stuff. And then I wanted to be a storm chaser. Oh, wow. Yeah, I wanted to go chase hurricanes and tornadoes and stuff like that. So, and it's amazing that we actually have people in South Carolina doing those things.
Yeah.
Yeah. We like really literally have people who hopped on rockets, almost went to. We have people working in all these big, vast industries, but it seems like for some reason it gets choked off. And I know it falls back on personal responsibility to a certain extent, but what do you expect a 16-year-old to do? You know, if he has the muscle and the grit, okay, word, this is what I'm gonna do. This is what I need to do to make my life better. But that's not going to be the story for everybody. So everybody's not the same. Some people are going to need a little extra push. Some people are going to have to actually see something tangible to walk into to spark their interest, I believe.
And some people need repetition. They need repetition. They need consistency over and
Yeah.
over and over again. And that takes money and time. And that's what people like. I'm happy that you made that point, because a lot of folks don't realize that when you do see a lot of these folks out here who do make all these great new expanses and things and learn things and make these big business moves, a lot of them come from places where they were afforded the opportunity to make mistakes and not die for it.
Right.
You gotta, because our people, we don't get those options, man, and it creates a situation where you, like I said, going back to what I was saying about with trauma culture, where, all right, well, if that's the case, then why should I make this or try to take this opportunity when I know, hey, I may not even be able to actually achieve it or be able to enjoy it. So we gotta afford safety. I think that's a big thing, man.
Yeah, safety.
Gotta afford it in our neighborhoods.
Chances make champions. So like you got to take risks, but is it worth it? Will I bounce back after it? Am I able to? Do I have help? Like,
right. Like we did stupid stuff. Like we did like 5 points. 5 points was like a target. That was like, it's money down there. So like we 16, 15 years old, you know, trying to figure out different ways to make money, from raking yards. We did it all, like everything, like the good and the bad.
Yep. And that's the only way you can learn. And unless you have somebody there to give you some kind of guidance, it's gonna be hard to find it. And I know I ran into a situation yesterday. I was out there, I was on my run doing my exercise, and I ran into these kids, and they were tussling on somebody's yard. They don't know the person who lived at the house, don't know nothing what's going on. They just out in the yard tussling, right? And you know, white folks driving by. I had to run up on the brothers. I said, wait, what are y'all doing? And why are you doing it right here? Right? And I was just talking to them, and they were just, you got to imagine, it was Friday. They just got off school. There was nothing else to do. But I was like, but why are you doing it in this like in this person's yard? You like, do you know him? They're like, nah, I don't know him. I was like, where do y'all live at? Like, show me where y'all live. We can go back there. Y'all can go there. Y'all can tussle in front of the yard, etc. In the safety of your own house. Because like I was trying to explain to them, the public perception right now, especially of black males, is not good. And when and this is, like I said, just grabbing someone who's young and giving them time, energy to explain the situation, what's going on, because they don't know. You like when I was talking to them, I could tell they were innocent. Them were little kids, but someone would have seen them as a grown adult.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Ain't even had no chin hair, man. But like I said, it was just the fact of sitting there with them and explaining the situation, what's going on in the world, because they ain't paying attention on the news. They don't care about nothing like that. Unless it's you know what I'm saying? They out here living life. I remember I was that age. I was the same way. Yes. So I took that time to give it to them, and then they came back round. I saw them back in the street, and I pulled them over and I talked to them again, and I explained to them why I did what I did. I tried to let them know, hey, if I came off as too aggressive, I apologize, etc. And it was cool. And they were like, all right, such. I said, well, if you ever come by, you see me out, you come holler at me, shoot the breeze, whatever it is. If you see me working out, you want to come work out with me, no problem, come do it. And I could tell that they don't get that. That doesn't exist normally to them. They usually just get barked at.
Right.
So, like, did either of you guys mentor?
Yeah, Kevin and I told we had mentors, man. We took advantage. I don't know if y'all remember. There used to be a president back in the day. His name was Bill Clinton, and he was ratchet, but he did some good things. And some of the good things he did, we actually participate in some of these programs where, and mentoring is a weird word because I ain't gonna get into the breakdown of it. But when you go to Greek and you look up mentoring and what a mentor was, it's kind of weird. I don't want to say that I was mentored. I was I was given assistance from somebody who was wiser than us on about how to handle our business, how to proceed. Some of them were ministers or pastors. Others were educators. Some were family friends. But we always had people around to make sure, hey, little knuckleheads, this is what I need y'all to do. And this is what I need you to be aware of. How about yourself?
Myself, I'm currently not mentoring or doing any assistance right now. I have done some things in the past. I used to go to DJJ. I was talking to somebody earlier this year, and he said that he was going out there, but that kind of fell by the wayside. I hit up a couple of organizations to see if I could use my my business to help them out a little bit with what they're doing. and that didn't really go through either. So right now, I'm not currently mentoring, but I'm
Okay.
always looking for opportunities. Best believe that. I'm always looking for opportunities.
And I know, Tamaya, you were asking like ways that we can make it better. I know I think this is in Louisiana. It's in Louisiana. I don't know if it's in New Orleans, but there is a group, and I think it's going to spread. It's going to start spreading, but they've been actually having Black fathers in school.
Right. Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, I'm trying to tell you, like, to make sure that students are on their grind, that they're going from class, doing what they're supposed to be doing, not hiding up in the hallways, jumping into the bathrooms, going around the outside to go smoke some weed, go blah, 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 making none of that stuff. Because what the thing is, and I think this is so necessary, and Black folks got to realize this. If you don't police your own and you don't discipline your own, the outside groups will. And they won't be nice about it.
Will harshly.
Yep, real harsh. Because they don't got no love for you. So why do you expect them to give you a slap on the wrist when you see how they treat their own? You see what my man just did? Just bust two of his own people, got off. Because if they treat their own so harshly, then and they have no love for us, and what do you think they're gonna do to a 13-year-old girl who's acting up in class? What that police officer did, that just pick her up, slam her on the ground, throw her out the desk. They don't give a darn. Do not give a darn. And I think the balance in hip hop culture is important because hip hop culture influences our youth so drastically. That's why it's important to make sure you have, especially with the men, because this is our job. We're the disciplinarian. This is our job. We're supposed to hold ranks, hold file, keep people in order. That includes the children. Yeah, the mothers are there to nurture and et cetera, but they need to stick too every once in a while. So, and that's where, especially as men, understand the culture, and us being hip hop, especially Sam, you understand this as a Black man being in hip hop, it is our job to, when we see certain things or when we have opportunities, to insert ourselves and not be afraid of it.
Right. And 9 times out of 10, it's welcoming as long as you come with respect. As long as you, I never had young guys. Like, it was funny because it was funny because, like, I seen like a group of guys the other day, man, and they threw down some paper, man, and I was trying to get to the window. I couldn't get to the window in time. It just like, hey, bro, come on, man, you can't litter your own neighborhood, bro. Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
Just to speak to them, and most of them are receptive. Like, I know, especially to, like, I know a lot of the older Blacks are afraid of the younger Blacks. And
yes, they are.
And that's just a big problem. It's just a big problem. Oh, what happened a couple years ago in Atlanta with the police was called, with the guy he fell asleep in the car.
Yeah.
And they called the police. And I'm like, bro, like, why couldn't y'all just wake him up? And what made it bad is once I heard the 911 call, like, and it was like, we need to have that sort of love for one another. But I was just watching Project Pack too, man. And Project Pack was like, the South ain't friendly no more.
No, I heard that. I heard that interview. Yeah, but you see why though, right?
Yeah.
You see why it's that legislation principle, like the balance of, I think hip hop culture, it has to make it into politics. Like, and what I mean by that is what Tupac was doing, and you being influenced by Tupac greatly. You know where I'm coming from with this. Before he passed, he was trying to create a political party because he understood that lobbyists and legislation create the 3 strikes and you're out rule. It's not the guy, like, you don't go and fight somebody with a gun or stab somebody to make legislation work.
Right.
Nah, G, it don't take that. It's a different game. But it will do the same exact thing that knife or that gun can do. Take a man off of the streets forever. Like,
for real.
One of the biggest reasons why in hip hop culture, I think we have that imbalance is because we have a whole generation of Black men that never saw the streets, never raised these kids, never seen anything going on. And it was due to crack legislation. The difference between baking soda being with the powder and not put a whole generation away, to the point where you still got one of the gentlemen that everybody talking about off that BMF. He's still in jail. I ain't gonna say his name, but he's still in jail. All his other people's got off. They've been out already, and he's still in jail for no reason. So again, we gotta make sure that that balance in hip hop. I didn't want to sound like what they said. The kids say the boomers and the old heads. I don't want to sound like old head, but there has to be balance, bro. There has to be. You can. Everybody out here can just be eating peanut butter and jelly. Somebody got to eat peanut butter and strawberry or peanut butter and honey. We need variety in life. Spice. You know what I'm saying? Variety is the spice of life. Like
You're right, but that goes into like work life, balance life. Everything has to be balanced in your life. So, like, Sam, how do you balance your work life and being a creative? What ways do you have any like side things? I know you posted some Hertz music the other day.
Oh yeah, oh yes. Like I definitely will go into my and like I'm so chaotic at times. I can bounce around, but I definitely meditate. And if push comes to shove, like I've re-fallen in love with fasting. That is like the best thing because it just
yes,
slows everything down for you so that you can kind of process things, what's really going on. And so yeah, so definitely that's how I kind of keep my balance. And my baby, I just love my little daughter. Oh, I love my little daughter. She been on my show. So I got one child, man, and she's just everything to me. So that's my balance. Like I do my spiritual thing on the side and family time. Those keep me balanced.
that's an excellent answer, man.
Those definitely
Excellent
keep me
answer.
balanced.
Right. So, do you have any upcoming projects we should check out?
I do. We're working on. I got a couple of mixtapes that I'm working on right now. We got the Christmas thing going on with Brian, the violinist. We got he did a rendition of Nat King Cole, the Christmas song, and we're gonna
Is he from
date that up.
Colombia?
So that he's from Colombia. Yeah,
Wow. Okay.
he's always downtown. He's always downtown. He's usually he's a street performer.
Is
Uh,
he at the market?
So we got him. So he got a project coming out. I got a few mixtapes, well, single mixtapes that we're working on. So those are what's coming out recently in the next couple of weeks.
Oh, and question: Are you, of course, are you still taking on business with your just with the mixing? Are you still taking business on? If so, like any way that people could get in touch with you if they wanted you to master something for
Oh
a
yeah,
mix,
definitely,
etc.
man. If y'all want to pull up, if y'all want to record, everything is spelled out. Everything is spelled out. No abbreviations. It's Sam BEMIXING.com. On SamBMixing.com. You can see my schedule. You can pull up the address on there. So yeah, man. Any jobs, anything y'all need, any audio, podcast, radio, instruments, whatever you do that needs to be recorded or mixed, yeah, pull up. I got you.
And will they be able to get pricing on the website, or is that done?
Oh no, pricing on the website. I like to have everything up front.
My God,
Oh,
my God.
yeah. So you can understand what you're getting into. You have any questions, you can call me 678-368-5278. And that's how I like to work. I like to be up front when we work. Just like I said, I like to be prepared when people come in, especially for recording. But if you let me know ahead of time, because like I'm ready, I enjoy the process, but I want you to leave with something. Like I don't want you to
Yeah.
leave with a half finished song, and that wasn't the goal. And the goal, and your goal in your head was to finish the song. So I wanna do what you do. I wanna do what you do.
And you, of course, you understand it because you're also an artist. So you get the vibe. You get the vibe.
Oh yeah, and see, like, yeah, like I done it all. Like as far as that, like we used to do shows 4 nights a week, all that crazy stuff. Yeah, different shows. So I've seen it all. That's why I said like you gotta give people an opportunity. Definitely see the whole situation. If you feel like you've been rubbed the wrong way or anything like that, don't just spaz out, man. Go to that person, talk to that person, see what's really going on. Then if you get that vibe, but I think a lot of people jump off the bandwagon. They jump off the wagon, get discouraged real quick, and they return back to a hostile way of thinking once things don't go that way, especially in music.
Mm-hmm. Lots of emotion tied into it.
Yes, lots of emotion. Definitely got to shake that.
Hey, one more thing. I was gonna ask this because I was going through some. Do you, man? How have you enjoyed working with the gospel artists and stuff like that?
And see, and like I come from my first, and I said it in another interview, but it was Deacon Richards. I think I said Deacon Bill, but I said in another interview Deacon Bill, but it was Deacon Richards, and I just saw him like 2 days ago. Like he's still kicking, looking good, and he was the first artist that I recorded, and that's what like my poetry was gospel in space, and that was like it was a way for me to find myself too, but then you know like it was a way for me to talk to people about the Lord as well. And that's the way I used my poetry. Like it was all spiritually influenced in some way or another. Wow, where did that go? Where did I go? Oh, I just lost it. I was somewhere.
It happens to the best of us, right?
Yeah, man. But I just saw him. I saw Deacon Richards yesterday, but it's been so wonderful. And like, I really believe like she is going to blow. Like, I'm already ready to throw her to the wolves. I'm ready to call some people. Hey, bro, y'all got some performances. I got this artist I think y'all need to check out. Like, I'm already ready to throw her to the wolves because she is good. And I love her music. I love the way that she does it. It's not, I listen to gospel music and I don't quite like the new stuff that I'm hearing. I still, Ty Tribbett got a song. Oh man, that thing's so hard. I forget the name of it.
But, I don't really say the gospel song hard. You know it slaps. It slaps.
Yeah, so I don't really. I like the older stuff because the older stuff had a lot more fight, a lot more. To me, a lot more fight, a lot more presence, a lot more spirit in it. You know,
it was like spirituals.
Yeah, they needed that motivation. They needed that extra lift. They needed that push from God. So like she really kind of embodies that, and it's just an honor. It's funny that she was one of my producers. He made a post, and I sent it to her, and they wind up. He said that he practically kind of raised her a little bit. So I was like, man, that's dope. Like, and that's another thing. Like, so many connections. Like these connections have just been wild, man. That just been resurfacing of lately. Like just people are just coming together. Like a lot of dots are being connected. So I'm really enjoying that. I'm really enjoying that, man. And I just really think like it's going to be real good. I don't know when it's going to hit, but it's going to hit. But she is a wonderful artist, Stephanie Honey. That's her name. And
promote.
Yes, Stephanie Honey. Yes, and she's gonna be. I think like January. That's when we're gonna do the album release. If I believe, I hope I'm not leaking any information. But yeah, she probably good. Yeah, January. Y'all be looking out for her in January, man. And I'm just so pleased with the songs that we have done. We have already done like 4 songs right now. 3 of them are possibly ready to go. We might go back in them just to kind of touch them up and add a little more feel to them.
Yeah.
A little reverb here, make this vocal a little bit bigger, something like that. But right now, man, those songs are hitting. And I'm talking about I let a couple of artists caught them off guard with it, man. And they're like, wow.
Makes your soul feel different. I believe it.
Man. Yeah, man.
So are you looking to, is there any area that you're looking to tap into that you haven't yet? Like, or do you want certain people to come to you, so you can kind of make more connections?
Oh, right now?
The area.
In this area or just in?
Yeah, who are you looking to work with, or what type of crowd do you want to tap into? Like,
I need to set up something with the Doubler. I need to set up something with him. Okay. Set up something with him. I'm thinking about something because the thing that him and Tim Divide did was just awesome, and I let him know that when I saw him that was just awesome, and it just blessed me. So I really want to do something like that, and it's just something just out the box. Always blending. I'm always trying to blend hip hop with something else. So yeah. So I think I want to work with him. And I want to work with some more singers, some more good singers. Trey the Goat, Bird Daddy Cool Breeze. These are 2 hip hop artists that like I can put them with anybody. These are like kind of my go-to features. If somebody's asking for a feature, I'll probably recommend them because they're so dope and they work real fast and they give good content too. They give good they give good content with their music. And I just want to work with anybody who just want to work, man. Let's do some stuff. I hate red tape. I hate red tape. And then I hate doing things by myself when it's supposed to be a group project.
Yes. Understood. Definitely.
You're well-rounded.
Yeah. So, but that's kind of like it. Yeah. Right now, I need to go to more studios, and that's another thing about me. Like, I really haven't been in the studios and stuff. And like me and my guy, we was talking this morning, and I told him like, bro, like I had anti-industry. That was like my hashtag for like a long time.
I don't blame you.
So, but I still want to work with like, I've never been to like big studios. The only studios I ever been to mainly was the ones I worked in. And I worked in V12 for a little while. Salute to 5 Star. I went down there to deal with my guy Russian real quick. And I think they changed the name of that one now to like the Lab. But, like Atlanta, shout out to Willpower.
Hey, here we go.
Yeah, shout out to Willpower. They showed me a good time. That was like my first, like everything that I studied about and read in my own personal time to help me. Like he was down there doing it, like even from the floating floors and everything. So man, salute to that guy down there, man, doing big things right here from Columbia. And once again, like a lot of people have done great and humongous things from this state. And I think those need to be highlighted, and we need to find these people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we need to find these people and bring them back and like, hey, yo.
Yes.
Like, this is what, even like the families from the astronaut that we had that went up on Apollo 11?
Yep, Apollo.
Let's go find this family and see what this family talking about and stuff. You know, just anything.
So where can I find you on social media and everything?
My social media?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Sam B. Mixon. You should be able to Google me and find everything. Sam B. Mixon. Yeah, Sam B. Mixon will lead you to my Twitter, to my Instagram. I'm on TikTok, but TikTok really kind of doing some stuff right now that I don't really like. Like every time I post something political, they kill me. Like they shut me down. They shut me down early. So it's like, yeah.
We're messing with TikTok right now.
Yeah, they even killed me on my prices. I can't even promote on there.
Really?
I was sharing my prices like nothing, and they told me my account has been something for violating their
agreement.
That's messed up, yo. That's messed up.
Yeah, man. So yeah, I posted a picture of, and then the last what's that? The last thing. I think the last thing I did on them was I posted a prayer from Kenneth Copeland, and they barred that one. when he was praying about COVID. But yeah,
you know they ain't playing with that right now. They, good Lord, they're touchy. But shoot, man, it's excellent talking to you today. Of course, the first time I've got to talk to you, I've heard about you many times from Mike and from Kevin. So it's excellent having a conversation. I think Tamaya, you enjoy this conversation as well.
Yeah, I've been waiting to pick his brain all week.
Come on. So I just want to go ahead and we'll go ahead and close out today. This will conclude this episode of the Hilltop Glove Podcast. We want to thank our guest, Sam B. Mixon, for joining us today.
Hilltop gang!
Shout it out. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hey.
Hashtag.
For the Hilltop Glove Podcast, I want everybody to have a blessed one out here on this Saturday. Be safe, enjoy your day, and we will see you next time. Peace.
That's it for today's episode of the Hilltop Glove Podcast. Make sure to subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and other platforms. Also follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Hilltop Glove.